Hello, San Francisco, and welcome once again to the Angelic Troublemakers. I'm your host, Alan Jones, and on today's program, Heroin don't care that you are the mayor. Heroin don't care that you are the mayor. I'm bringing you this program based on this week's news. We have London Breed, our mayor, has been caught up in a little uh, ethical issue. On your screen here is an editorial by the San Francisco Chronicle, and it basically is a follow up to this week's news, where London Breed in October made a special request to the outgoing governor, Jerry Brown, in an attempt to uh, get him to pardon or leniency or a commutation of London Breed's older brother who's serving a 44-year prison sentence in a California prison for manslaughter and armed robbery. Now, the issues of the robbery are troubling. I myself don't like to give the San Francisco Chronicle editorial board credit, but I think that they did a decent job in pointing out why he should get no special treatment, though quite frankly, um, it's a no-brainer. The issue on this particular uh, case, where London Breed reached out to the governor knowing that he's leaving office, is a little bit suspect because past history has shown that some governors have used their position to give some preferential treatment on their way out the door on various issues. The one that is so egregious to me was when Arnold Schwarzenegger was governor. He commuted the sentence of a young man who committed a murder. But the young man's father was an ally in the governor's, in Sacramento, a political ally. And so, sure, he got, flack for it, but he did it on the last day that he was governor. And so it went on, and that individual who committed this stabbing in a fight, that individual is out of prison today. And he was given, I don't know, a 20 or I don't know how many years sentence, but I don't even think he served 5 years or I don't know how many years it was. I'm sorry. But the deal is he got out of prison way much earlier than he should have. And that is why I have advocated changing the clemency process in the state of California. But that's another issue, another show, another time. But the issue with London Breed, I found it to be quite reckless. And quite frankly, I sent her an email. And in the email, I said the first sentence was, I hope this wakes you the hell up. And then I went on to tell how I was disappointed in the situation. And I said that if Governor Brown grants her brother any leniency, I'm not even going to get out of bed when it comes to voting for mayor in 2000 November 2019 because I just think that she used poor judgment. Now, the situation in this case is this. London Breed's older brother committed a robbery, and the accomplice, a woman, they were driving back across the they were driving away across the Golden Gate Bridge. And I guess an argument ensued, and London Breed's brother pushed the woman out of the moving vehicle to where she was struck and killed by a coincidental drunk driver. Well, he was tried and convicted, or he was convicted, but the conviction was overturned, and when they retried him, he got a couple of years off of his sentence because he pled no contest and he accepted responsibility for his crime. But where I come in with heroin don't care that you are the mayor is the fact that London Breed's brother is a heroin addict. And I say is because 2 years ago, while still in prison, he was caught with heroin in his prison cell. And so I am sending this warning out, not to London Breed, but to everybody who has a heroin addict that they care dearly for. I know London Breed ain't going to hear this message. I hope somebody close to her does and gives her a video of this, which will be uploaded to YouTube, the Angelic Troublemakers. But the fact is, London Breed is talking to her brother in prison and getting a whole bunch of promises. And based on experience of a person who I loved, my late brother had a 40-year 40-year heroin addiction. And I can honestly say that not knowing what London Breed's brother was whistling in her ear, I can guarantee that heroin was somewhere nearby. Not that he was using it, but in his mind, heroin will always be there trying to get him to trip up. And her best efforts to get her brother out of prison, second chance, and get him a job and a place to stay, I can imagine London Breed will be successful in this. People don't talk about this, but let me tell you something. Before London Breed was mayor, none of us knew all of this situation. But London Breed helped the cousin of this woman who was killed by her brother get a job and a place to stay when he got out of prison. So it goes to church. I'm sure that she knows what she's doing on this. And if I can go even further back, I used to be a Bible study teacher at the San Francisco Juvenile Hall from 1983 to 1993. And I know from personal interactions, London Breed's siblings were up at juvenile hall, so there was a history of the family having something to do with the criminal justice system. Now, where this heroin again comes in is the fact that I see this issue with London Breed turning into her Willie Horton issue. If you know who Willie Horton is, you young people don't, but what had happened was way back when a man was running for president. I think his name was Dukakis or something like that. And he he released some guy early from prison, and the person ended up committing a rape and murder. And when his opponent found out about it, he used it against him, and that's how he lost the election. So I can see where those haters of our mayor, London Breed, who are already calling for her to resign on this issue, are going to use this when the campaign ramps up later on in 2019. Basically saying she is unfit to be mayor because she tried to use her position to get her brother out of prison. Now, Governor Brown has commuted the sentences or given clemency to a lot of people who have committed murder. So it's not unusual. And this article points that out. And so I'm saying that there is a situation where on the governor's side, it wouldn't be out of line. But for London Breed, who knew that this was a sketchy situation, knowing the facts as she does, which are a lot more than what we know, she used poor judgment. And you can't be mayor of San Francisco and consistently using poor judgment and think people are going to just roll over. Well, I'm saying that this poor judgment is based on the fact that she loves her brother. But the warning of heroin, I'm telling you, my brother had a nickname, and his nickname was Cold Blood. You don't get the name Cold Blood and you're a heroin addict by helping little old ladies across the street. He was proud of that name. Now, in a side note, I can say that once he called me from prison. It was a collect call. And this collect call went like this. Operator said, there's a Mr. Coldblood on the phone. Will you accept the charges? I responded, I don't know no Mr. Coldblood, and hung up. My brother called back and identified himself by his name. Then I accepted the charges and I told him, don't you ever call here announcing yourself as Coldblood and expect me to accept the charges. Meaning his entire life of using that nickname, I never called him by that nickname. When his friends would sometimes say to me, your brother did me wrong, I would remind them, you've known my brother for quite some time. You call him by his nickname, Cold Blood. Well, if you know that he has this nickname of Cold Blood and you've been calling him it for years, what are you doing crying to me? You knew what type of person he was. So I'm saying to you, people, that we are tricked into believing certain things about certain people, and we don't understand that sometimes the people who we love most, who have a heroin problem, it would it could be any drug, but in this situation, we're talking heroin. Uh, these people, they do have the best intentions. However, best intentions do not get you delivered from heroin. It has been my experience, with my brother included, that when all family and loved ones write you off, that's your best chance of getting rehabilitated. I'm just telling you like it is. I know people who they've had family members who have been on heroin, and the coincidence, the common denominator for those who have been able to turn around, and there's only a handful of them that I know of, the fact that everybody in their family said, uh-uh. So to burn all your bridges is the best way that you're going to get deliverance from heroin. Meaning, there are some qualified people who can help get you off of heroin, but it ain't family members. Sure, I love my brother. My brother wanted me dead. Why? Because, and it's funny, because of the fact that he was so mad at me because he couldn't get me to co-sign to any of his silly scams to get some money for his drugs. But when he was living in a hotel room, they had him sign something uh, of who to notify in case of an emergency. My brother had 9 siblings. Well, one name and only one name was on the list contact in case something happened to him. Alan Jones. Now, for my brother to want me dead, for one reason, and then have me as the most reliable person to contact in case something happens to me is, I say, funny. But the fact of the matter is a lot of people who are heroin addicts, they have real good hearts and intentions. My brother, great cook, very good artist, he could decorate, he had all kinds of talent. And the one thing that above all is he knew when somebody was trying to get over on him and he didn't like it. And I mean, he explodes. When he even whiffed at somebody trying to pull a scam on him, he wasn't having any of it. But the man scammed people left and right all day long to get his heroin. And when he found out that there was somebody more uh, astute or more in tune to when a scam was coming, and he couldn't get this person to buy into the scam, he knew he met his match and he was mad and he wanted to get rid of this guy, which was me. I thought it was funny, but that's that. But I'm saying that heroin don't care what your position is. It is heroin that may cost London Breed her position as a politician, let alone mayor, because of the fact that if the governor grants her brother any leniency and he is released from prison early, he can do the best job he possibly can to stay on the straight and narrow. But that heroin will always be trying to grab a hold of him. And as this heroin is always nipping at him, come on, come on. Oh, she didn't say hi to you. You need to go get some heroin to deal with this issue. I'm telling you the truth. Heroin will take one of the most pettiest things to send you off to do something that it wants you to do, which is shoot up, get back into its clutches. And so I'm saying that this heroin don't care. And it is the heroin aspect, not the help your brother aspect, that London Breed needs to really be worried about. Because when it comes down to it, she's going to end up saying, if it all blows up, she's going to say something like, I don't believe my brother did this to me. Well, he didn't. Your brother loves you. Your older brother is proud of the fact that he has a younger sister who became mayor of San Francisco. He is not intending on doing anything. It's the furthest thing from his mind to do something to destroy your career. But heroin don't think that way. And once that heroin gets back into him, he's going to be scamming you and anybody around you that they can. That heroin can. You know. And so I'm saying that heroin is the issue here that people are not looking for. Because sure, you can be objective and you can be just opposed to the releasing of this individual from prison. I myself, I'm 100% against releasing this particular individual from prison under the circumstances that got him in prison. However, I don't blame London Breed one bit for advocating for her loved one. I hope all people advocate for their loved ones. But you have to know and you have to draw the line. Because when it's drug addiction, you can be the smartest person in the world and be tripped up by heroin. And I'm saying that London Breed should basically back off if her brother does get released. But the issue is it can end up coming back to bite her, and she'll be so surprised at what her brother will do. If he pushes a woman out of a car on the Golden Gate Bridge just because the two drug addicts, don't know about the woman, but the issue is if you can push a person out of a car and you're a drug addict, who is to say you're going to behave when your sister is in the mayor's office? If you push a woman out of a car on the Golden Gate Bridge, you will push a mayor out of her seat in City Hall if you're on heroin. And I'm saying that wake up, London Breed, and understand, though you love your brother, as I love my brother, this is not an issue for you to advocate for his release. Other family members, including the mother, have sent requests to the governor requesting leniency. I don't oppose any of them. But in this particular situation, London Breed used poor judgment, and I hope and I pray to God that it does not blow up in her face. But the fact of the matter is, the better way to have handled it is knowing that you are mayor of San Francisco, and you know people are going to eventually find out about this. For you to use such poor judgment and say, well, I'll write this letter. He's my brother. Of course I'm going to help my brother. No. London Breed has admitted this whole thing could backfire on her, make it worse for him. That she considered, and she still sent the letter. That's why I'm saying poor judgment could come back to bite you. But it's not basically you did anything wrong to advocate for your brother. You just didn't think about the heroin issue. You can talk about, oh, I'm going to get him off of drugs. I'm going to help him get the best rehabilitation. I'm going to pay for this, pay for that. Blah, 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 blah. No, it don't work that way. I'm saying that her brother should be encouraged while he's doing his time to help other inmates, not help himself get out of prison. And as a prison reform activist who believes that there's many more deserving who are in prison who need to be out, I'm saying that London Breed, you should rethink how you decide that you are going to advocate for your loved one, and let this be a lesson to everybody who has a loved one who's dealing with a drug problem and they're incarcerated. Sure, you can claim that you know and have connections and stuff like that. You don't have connections to heroin. And all of the connections that you have ain't gonna stop heroin to connecting back, hooking back up with your brother. And so I'm saying that look at this from the standpoint of, now I want to help my brother, but I don't want to help heroin. And knowing that this brother 2 years ago had heroin in his cell and was tagged with it, and 2 years was tacked onto his sentence because of it, that is the wake-up call that you should have heeded. But no, you put it on a, oh, it was just drugs in the cell. Oh, that's no big deal. I'll give him a job. He needs a second chance. Well, he got a second chance. He got a second chance when he was in prison and he was supposed to be toeing the line. And that second chance was he got busted for heroin. Well, common sense should tell London Breed that wasn't his only interaction with heroin. So the man has a heroin problem. And it's one that London Breed cannot solve. Let me tell you something. Before I close here, London Breed, if there's a better chance that she can solve the homeless problem in San Francisco, then she can get her brother off of heroin. I'm telling you the truth. And I'm telling you this not only from personal experience, but heroin is a dangerous drug. And I'm telling you, it has many victories. And I'm saying that in this situation, heroin would love to have two more trophies. One, her brother after he's released from prison, and two, London Breed's political career. If heroin has the opportunity to put those two trophies on its mantle, oh, he'll be beaming in hell. But I'm saying to you, people, when I'm saying this, I'm saying it to you, not necessarily just London Breed. Because London Breed, I'm telling you, her ego may be as tall as the Salesforce Tower right now because of her position. She may not listen, but don't let that be you.